everybody, Jesus loves you. My name is Cody. You're watching the Wednesday, the Wednesday episode of that Christian news show thing that I do. And through Christ, I can do all things, including pink. Truth! And the first story of the day is something that I wanted to talk about when I wasn't doing videos, and I was like, but they made another update to that story, so I get to talk about it. And that's about a church in Indiana, where the little boy saying that ain't no homos getting into heaven, and everybody cheered in the entire congregation, and the pastor was happy and all of that stuff. Around the same time that the other church was like, we should just fence them all in until they die. And what the news story said is that they're not hateful people. They love everybody and they hate the sin, which you hear that all the time. We love everybody, we just hate the sin that they're doing. But to say that homos are going to get into heaven, that means that nobody is getting into heaven at all. The verse, and the kid sings it in a song, is Romans chapter 1, verse 27. Read that entire, like 2 or 3 chapters of that, and you realize how out of context people are taking that. For one, it's talking about people in the old law in Leviticus, and 2, the entire thing is about not judging people. So some news for you, Apostolic Truth Tabernacle. If ain't no homo getting into heaven, neither are thieves, neither people will steal stuff, neither are people that do anything in the 10 Commandments, neither is that guy in the back that keeps like creeping on the chick in the front. And you, Apostolic Truth Tabernacle, are looking for a way to make your hate justified, and that is wrong and completely against what the Bible teaches. Lucky for humanity, you have no say on who gets into heaven. So I've been bothered by this for a while. I'm really happy that I get to talk about the ignorance of America. And I'm not saying that I'm better than Christians or whatever. I'm saying that America can be really stupid, and we look at the Bible because we're like, we're all Christians. Let's look at the Bible and find some way to discriminate against people that we don't like and justify it. So to the atheists out there who saw this title and was like, I'm gonna troll, I apologize, 1, for the title, and 2, for Christians. I promise, our Jesus is much better than our Christians. That's semi-quoting Gandhi. But yeah. And our next story is about something that I think I talked about at like the beginning of last year, and the numbers on here are from 2011 and then to 2012. So this is updated on an older news story, I think. But it's on the survey that they've been doing of how many Christians in America are worldly, or who say they're Christian, but actually they admit they don't live a Christian life at all. They don't even try to follow Jesus. And the numbers are kind of alarming. The last time I talked to you guys about it, it was at 23.7% of people were worldly Christians, and now it's at 30.9. And it's kind of interesting to me because I keep thinking that America is getting more Christian and it's coming back and it's got this big uprising. But when you look at the numbers, that's like really not true. Within a year, it moved almost 10%. And I think a lot of this has to do with evangelism. I find America to be a very evangelistic country. We spend a lot of time making these events to bring non-believers into the Christian faith. But we don't spend a lot of time on making those Christians, not letting them know what they're supposed to be doing after they become a Christian. People become a Christian, and then you spend your next week finding more people to make Christian. And that's done really great. We've done awesome. I think there are lots of new Christians out there, but none of them really know what's going on. And I've said this before, I think that we just need to make Christianity part of the culture again. You can kind of see Christian music really isn't lagging too much, but you don't have Christian YouTube that's good. This isn't all that good. You don't have Christian TV. You don't have good Christian movies. Christian movies are finally coming back, but we don't have that good, solid Christian media. We don't have things that influence people outside of Sunday night church and Wednesday night youth group. And for those people that don't have youth group, they have Sunday morning, and that's it, when they're half tired and they don't really want to be there in the first place. There's nothing to do really once you get out of church. And if you go to something else, it's usually at church. There's just no Christian life outside of doing Christian stuff, doing missional stuff. There's no worship outside of the church. And I really think that's what needs to be changed. Our next story is about a Christian company who's kind of bringing that culture out that I'm talking about. Everybody's got a phone. Everybody kind of knows what a QR code is. And once you scan it, it usually takes you to some kind of website on your phone. Well, now there's a Christian company called Piety, if you will. And what they do is they have these really cool shirts, really cool designs and stuff like that. And then they have the QR code on the shirt. So you can be walking down the street and somebody like, oh, I really like your shirt. Here, let me take my awesome phone that costs way too much money and scan that QR code. And then I'll look on it on my phone and I will see a website and it explains the Bible. And this to me is awesome. This is like Christianity doing something right, as I put it. I say that quite a bit. This is something Christianity does right. This is something they do wrong. This here with the t-shirts and the QR code is definitely something right. It's just a really great way to evangelize. A problem that some people can have with, I think, these Christian billboard shirts is what I call them. I wear a lot of them and they're just like abruptly Christian and people read them and then you can start a conversation. But for some people, they don't know how to start that conversation or go through with it. So a shirt like this where it just sends someone to a website and it does it for them, it's really awesome that they can do that. They're just really proud that we have a Christian company that was like, we can take this, we can use this, let's do it now. And they went with it. And it's actually growing into something pretty cool. So I usually don't like to advertise things that I don't know too much about, but this seems really awesome. I'm probably gonna go buy a shirt for myself. So go check these out. This is just, it's awesome. It's Christians taking what is now and making it relevant. And our final story goes against everything I just said about that last story, because it seems that there's a few religious groups that say that technology is bad for religion. And the reasons will just amaze you. One of their biggest reasons was because you can Google stuff and that brings out the truth of evolution and things like that. And their worry was, oh no. And they literally said, truths like these take away from our religions. Now it wasn't the Christian religion, it was the Sikhs, which are a totally another religion that I don't really know much about, that has nothing to do with Christianity. But they got a lot of religions to believe that technology and science are bad for our faith. Proverbs 18:15 says that the wise seek out knowledge. So it's foolish to say that knowledge is a bad thing and that technology, which is smart and technological, is a bad thing. Now granted some technologies can be bad, but not because Google tells you opinions that are out there and facts that are out there that may contradict certain parts of your faith that you don't want to adapt to. And I'm not saying that's what I believe about evolution. And now I'm not saying that's what I believe in evolution, but I'm saying that's a possibility. And Google isn't a bad thing. Google is like the best thing since the NES, really. Other problems with it, obviously, where communities aren't as close together, people don't communicate the way that they used to, things like that. And they said that it is the fall of organized religion. It's kind of taking something that isn't really bad and saying, oh no, we can't use this. So obviously there's certain parts of technology that can be very harmful to us, but a lot of this, especially the internet, I think is probably one of the best things of getting the message out there as fast as possible. And the question of the day for you guys is, how do we make technology better for Christians? How do we better spread the message through technology? And for the atheists who hope that it never does and people are right and it is the end of organized religion, why? So kind of two-sided. I'm only going to write the Christian one down in the description. And from that, I haven't done that hand motion before. Anyways, we go on to the verse of the day. And I'm going to bring the Bible into the verse of the day, which I don't usually do, but this is really long and kind of important. So I want to get it right. So, Romans chapter 2, verse 1, you therefore have no excuse, you who pass judgment on someone else, for at whatever point you judge the other, you are condemning yourself, because you who pass judgment do the same things. And that is almost directly after Romans chapter 1 verse 27, which is the stuff saying about like homosexuality and a ton of other sins that seem to not be mentioned, like stealing. And it's really every sin in the Bible is what they're talking about, because they're talking about the fall a long time ago and not when Jesus saved the day or eternity. So I just want to point that out to all the people who are judging. You are judging yourself because you do the same things. And it just so happens there's 613 laws in the Old Testament. So, just so happens, again, that you sin yourself. That's all that I found interesting in the news today. So, in closing, haters keep hating, Christians keep praying. To everybody, like and subscribe. I will see you later, and God bless.